Growing up, I wish somebody had told me the importance of being an effective communicator. I mean, people may have mentioned it to me, but I didn't really take it that serious. And now as an adult, I realize the importance of being a better communicator. And over the years, I've grown and I've become a better communicator. I mean, I speak on stages, I have this podcast, I have built the Champion You community, I'm a consultant. So I have gotten better at communication, but it's something that I must continue to work on. And I want to talk to you about 4 reasons why you have to become a better communicator and how it's going to help you in your life. Let's talk about that coming up next. You're listening to the Grind and Gratitude Show. What's going on, everybody? I am Danny Stone, also known as Coach Stone, is in the building. I'm super excited to be here with you. And today I want to talk to you about something that's really important. We all know this, but communication and being an effective communicator. But before I get too far down the road, I want to do something different. You know, for those people who support this show, the Grind and Gratitude Show, and watch this on YouTube and listen on podcasts, I want to start acknowledging some of the listeners who have been showing love and sending DMs and all that kind of stuff. So the first listener I want to show love to is, her name is Stacy Savory. Stacy, thank you so much for being an avid listener. You know, you're such a champion of the Grind and Gratitude Show podcast, of the Champion You community. You're always sharing our posts and our videos and our podcast episodes. And so I want to say thank you so much, Stacy. And one of the things I also want to share about Stacy is she's an author. So she has a book out called The Perfect Storm, Navigating the Storms of Life in Messy Waters. So make sure that you grab that on Amazon. Thank you for being an avid listener and supporter of the podcast, Stacy. Another listener, or 2 other listeners I want to acknowledge is I received a message on LinkedIn from Tracy, and I won't say Tracy's last name. She lives in Florida with her son, Jordan. Jordan just turned 14. Jordan, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much for listening, Jordan. And Jordan, I want you to know this. Look, you have a champion inside of you. I want you to go after every single dream that you have and don't quit until you make it happen. And at your age, just continue to explore and try new things. And when you find something that you really love and you're passionate about, go after it. And it sounds like you have a really great mom in Tracy. So thank you so much, Tracy and Jordan, for tuning in to the Grind and Gratitude Show. Now we got that out the way, and I want to bring it back to communication. I was never a really great communicator. I'm still not the best communicator. It's still something that I'm working on. But I want you to understand this. It's like you can be better, right? You can be a better communicator. You can be a more effective communicator. You can learn to get your ideas across in a more concise and confident way. And communication takes work. It's not something that you just wake up with and all of a sudden now you're able to kind of deliver your messages in a really clear, concise way, especially when you're angry or you're upset or you're nervous. Sometimes the words just don't come out the way you expect, right? I know I can attest to that. But through practice and through constantly working to get better, there's so many benefits of being a great communicator. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, you can be 14 years old like Jordan. You can be, 47 years old like me. You can be 80 years old. When you become a better communicator, it's going to benefit you in so many different ways. So today, let's talk about just 4 of those ways that it's benefited me. And I'm sure being a better communicator can benefit you as well. You want to get into this? All right, let's do it. The first way that being a better communicator can help you is to build stronger relationships. Now, that can be friendships, that can be romantic relationships, that can be business relationships, that can be relationships in a professional way in your profession or in your job. But learning to be a better, more effective communicator helps you to build those relationships because you can communicate your ideas. And communication isn't just about speaking, it's about listening. So when you become a more effective communicator, you listen better, you're able to absorb information, and you're able to respond. And for a lot of us, sometimes that's difficult because when we have something in our minds that we want to say, we're not really great listeners. And so someone's talking to you and you're already thinking about what you want to say, right? You're probably thinking that right now as I'm talking. You're already racking your mind thinking about what you would say to me if you were sitting in front of me right now. So being a better communicator is really about listening, deep listening to make sure that you understand what you heard, and then relaying that back to the other person and responding accordingly. And look, I'm going to say this. Being an effective communicator isn't about big words. It's not about being able to be, overly articulate and say all of these big words, because I'm not that way, right? I don't have this expansive vocabulary where I know all of these major words. But what I do have is I have the ability to show compassion, the ability to listen, and the ability to respond in a way that people understand. And I've often been told that I'm really good at speaking to the level of the person or the audience that I'm speaking to. So for you, continue to become a better listener. Continue to be a better communicator by responding to what you're hearing. And if you think that you hear something and you're not sure, then ask questions. That's how you build relationships, right? I have some really great personal and professional and business relationships that I've had for 30 or 35 years. And it's because of the communication. So when you learn to become a better communicator, you'll have better friendships, you'll have better romantic relationships, you'll have better partnerships and professional relationships. So that's the first reason that you really want to be a better communicator, and the first benefit. You rocking with me still? All right, let's go. Number 2. It's about accessing opportunities and professional opportunities, business opportunities. When you're a better communicator and you're a more effective communicator, you're showing people that you care, right? You're showing that you care about what it is that they're talking about. You care what you're talking about. And because of that back and forth and that ability to show that you're actually listening, that you care, that opens up opportunities. Right? It opens up business opportunities. It opens up professional opportunities. And when you can really clearly state why you are so passionate about what you're passionate about, people are curious. So here's an example. I remember years ago, I was applying for a job. And I went in for the interview, and it was supposed to be for a senior trainer. At the time, I was doing training for companies. I would train employees on different things. So at this particular time, I was going in for an interview, and I was applying for the senior trainer role. And I remember being in the interview with 2 people from human resources, and I thought the interview was going well. And then all of a sudden, one of them stops the interview. She goes, "Hold on, Danny." And she reaches over and whispers to the other woman. And I was thinking, uh-oh, what did I say wrong? And then they both turn to each other and they nod. I was like, uh-oh, I thought it was going better. I really thought it was going better than it was. And they said, "Danny, we're going to stop this interview. We don't want to interview you for the role that you applied for." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, did I say something wrong?" They said, "No, we want to interview you for a higher level position. We want to interview you for the manager position instead of this lower position. And it would be a $15,000 or $20,000 increase. You'll get more vacation, all that kind of stuff. So is it okay if we interview you for that role right now?" And I was like, yes. So that is the perfect example of being in an interview, learning how to communicate my ideas in a really effective way. Again, I'm not the most articulate person. I don't know the biggest words, but what I could do in that moment is show why I was passionate about the job. I told some stories. Stories are really powerful. And it came across in a way where they decided to interview me for another higher level position. And I ended up landing that job. So that's how opportunities open up. I've had business opportunities open up. I've had opportunities to speak on national television because of people watching my videos and conversations that I've had with people. They thought that I was a good communicator, so they put me on national television. So the same can be said for you. Opportunities will open up for you when you dedicate some time to being a better communicator, listening better, telling better stories, being able to really think about what you want to say before you just blurt it out. All of those things are going to help you to come across as a better, more clear, concise communicator. And this doesn't matter, you can be a student in school. It doesn't matter. If you have to give a presentation, learn to rehearse what you're going to say, right? Practice it. And then make sure that you watch yourself on video and go back and make changes to it so that you become a better presenter. Whether you're presenting as a project in school, or you're presenting in your job, or you're presenting to an audience to try to get them to buy into your ideas or your products or services. With the better communicator you are, the more opportunities are going to open up for you. All right, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is it reduces stress and conflict. When you learn to become a better communicator, especially in stressful situations, especially maybe even in the midst of an argument with a friend or a family member or a spouse or a business partner, when you can learn to kind of step back and just pause and listen to what's really being said and not respond in a really aggressive, angry way, then the result is going to be better. And I'm not the best at that. My wife will tell you that. Like sometimes we argue about, small, minor things, right? And then after I think about it, I say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So I'm trying to get better in the midst of maybe an argument or a disagreement to be a more effective communicator. And it starts with listening to make sure I understood what is being said, taking some deep breaths, calming down, that deep breath, calm down. Relax your mind, and then you respond. And so this is a skill. These are all skills and tools. Like I haven't mastered these things. They're things I'm continuing to work on. And they're things that if we all continue to work on, it's going to benefit you personally, professionally, in so many different ways. So that's tip number 3, like learning to be a better, more effective communicator can help you to reduce stress. It helps you to reduce conflicts because before you even get into the conflict, you can talk through it. So what I'm hearing you saying is this, am I right? Okay, I understand that. So here's what I think. These are my thoughts. And really talking through it before it becomes, a bigger conflict or a bigger argument or something that it gets really blown up. So that's tip number 3. And the 4th tip that I have for you is when you learn to be sort of a more prolific speaker, you can build a community. And building a community of people, whether it's online or in person, building a community is so important because if you want to take your life to the next level, if you want to achieve things that you've never been able to achieve, you can't do it alone. So you need coaches, you need mentors, you need people that support you and believe in you. Or maybe you're really passionate about a certain cause and you want other people to be passionate about that cause and you want them to join you. Well, then you have to be a really powerful speaker to get people to join that cause. You have to be able to tell great stories. You have to be able to speak with clarity, confidence, and conviction, right? And these are all things that you can practice, but they benefit you because now people say, well, I'm really interested in your cause, Danny. Tell me more. Or if you're definitely an entrepreneur and you're selling products and services, you have to learn to tell stories so that you attract your ideal customers and clients, right? You don't want them to just be clients. You want them to be a part of your community. You want them to follow you. You want them to give you feedback on your products and services. You want them to be loyal buyers. You want them to share your products and services with other people. That is a community. And so the benefit of really spending time working on being a more effective communicator, there's so many benefits, right? They're going to help you in so many ways. So we should take time, read books, watch videos. When you have an important message to deliver, write it down and practice it. Even if that you have to have a difficult conversation with a coworker or a friend or a family member or your children or your parents, write out what you want to say. Write it all out, go over it, practice it, rehearse it. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to go exactly the way that you want it to go, but at least you've written down your ideas and they're in a logical way. So when you have that difficult conversation or you have that conversation that you're nervous about, at least it's kind of organized. Sometimes when we're nervous, sometimes when we know that we have to deliver a not so good message, we're nervous or we're frightened or we're scared, and our message goes all over the place, right? We're saying one thing, we're saying something else that's disconnected. At least when you write it down and you practice a few times, you're going to be more organized. And you never know what the other person's response is going to be, but at least you can deliver your message in a really clear way. So these are just 4 quick tips that I wanted to share with you. These are things that I'm constantly working on. I'm always trying to be a more effective communicator. I'm always trying to think about my communication and how I may have come across in certain situations with people. And if I mess up and I think that I maybe miscommunicated, I tell the person, I say, look, that came out wrong. I shouldn't have said it like that. I really meant this. Can we restart? Or let's talk about it. Communication is a two-way street. It's not deliver your message and walk away. It's a conversation. Whether you're standing on a stage like I do sometimes or behind this podcast, I'm having a conversation with you. You are my co-host, right? That's how I see you. I'm imagining that you're sitting here with me and we're having this conversation. So whether it's in this environment, whether it's, standing on a stage, whether it's a one-on-one conversation with a family member, friend, coworker, all of these principles apply. We want to be good listeners. We want to pay attention to the other person's body language. We want to acknowledge to them that we hear what they're saying. You might want to paraphrase, what I'm hearing you saying is this right? And then you want to respond in a clear, concise way. And you want to try your best, if it's a conflict situation, to not come across as being too overly angry or aggressive. You just want to deliver your message so that it gets through to that person. So that is it. Those are my 4 tips to help you to become a better communicator. Those are the benefits of being a better communicator, help you to build strong relationships, lots of different professional or personal opportunities. You get to build your community and it helps you to reduce stress. These are just 4. There's so many other benefits, but these are the 4 that I wanted to talk about. So I hope this episode has been helpful for you. And I hope that if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast platform, again, please subscribe and leave a review. That will help me out so much. And always send me a message. I love to hear your messages. And if you send me a message, I will definitely shout you out in the next episode of the Grind and Gratitude Show. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. And I will catch you in the next episode. Take care.